test out some mic settings. I touched a couple things. I tried to see. First, I tried to see if I could stop my audio from like picking up my clicking noises, but unfortunately, just given with the space I'm working with right now, my microphone, which I bought an actual microphone a couple months ago, and it's all like totally cattywampus. I had to make sure I don't sound too terrible here. Testing, testing. Welcome to Pier, 1839. I would just go by Pier if I had the choice, but I don't. I don't really remember where I left off. Okay, I'm okay at the audio volume. And where is my internal audio? It has been since Thursday since I last streamed this. I was gonna stream yesterday, but I wasn't feeling so good. I'm still not feeling good, but I didn't want to keep missing out on this and then just forget what happened and drop this game. I really didn't want to, because I'm too far in. This was the most fabulous part of the family conference. Dinner. In the past, when Kinzo had been serious about the conference, he'd taken everyone's yearly gathering for dinner very seriously. Any embarrassments during dinner would shame him greatly as the host, so he had given Natsui stern orders to avoid such mishaps at all cost. Because of that, she and Kraus eventually hired Goda, who had confidence in his cooking abilities. Thanks to that, they I'm sleepy. Thanks to that, they became able to serve wonderful dinners they could be confident in. But by that time, Kinzo had closed himself up in his study and never appeared for dinner. Maybe you could call that ironic. When the main dish for tonight, calf steak, it's veal, just call it veal, was set out, Goda began to describe it proudly, further stimulating everyone's appetites. The sauce here is Bordelaise. Of course, the red wine base I used was excellent, even among those made in Bordeaux. But in addition, I prepared an original blend of this house. A blend of choice alcohol from around the world to further deepen the taste. The sauce is limited to this year. I sincerely hope you all enjoy your meal. Isn't that wonderful? However, isn't Bordelaise sauce common to French cooking? It almost seems like using alcohol from outside France with it. It almost seems like using alcohol from outside France with that is heresy. Kraus-sama, today is the annual family conference. As a dinner for those who normally live far away and who have never traveled far across the world to gather together. A writing translation. I realized it would be fitting to have a sauce made from a blend of fine alcohols from all over the planet that have never met each other before. So I had it specially prepared. Wonderful. A truly wonderful cook. That's what you are. Food and medicine work twice as well if you sell it right. It's already twice as delicious as normal food, and the advertiser makes it twice as good as that. The taste keeps doubling and doubling. I think you're just a big guy that likes to eat, Hideyoshi. Wahahaha. Giggle. Come on, Nissan. That question of yours was obviously a plant. No doubt about it. You totally set Goda-san up to steal the show. He gave him a layup. Nice layup, Kraus. This. It's from like a shirt or something. Oh, I know what it's from. Weird sticker. You think so? I thought there might be some people here who didn't notice that today's food was in the French style. After all, Ava said that avoiding butter was a virtue, but that's the Spanish style. Well, I guess they do share a border, right? That's not what I meant, jackass. Will you please not take a part of the conversation out of context and make stuff up? It's a very delicious sauce. Goda-san, you certainly are amazing. It is a great honor to receive your praise. And this is all thanks to Madam's habitual guidance. No, it was all Goda's idea. I only listened to the recipe and approved of it. It looks like the siblings quickly got into a loud argument about the sauce. But for the most part, dinner proceeded peacefully. However, a certain question they desperately wanted to ask burned inside each one of them. It was about that visitor, the 19th person, the Golden Witch. In actuality, Ava and Rudolph and the rest were very much on their guards during this meal. Did I get water? I did. Fuck yes. Such a well thought out stream. I think my issue is I have not been hydrating enough the past couple of days. I think that's really, like, fucked with me. If the mystery guest was ever going to be introduced, this dinner table would be the most appropriate place to do it. However, no place was set at the dinner table for the witch. The family conference would begin in earnest after the meal, and previous experiences told them that it might last deep until the night. However, they couldn't imagine why such a person should be kept hidden until that late, if they were going to be introduced in the end anyway. So, Ava and Rudolph and the rest were starting to feel a certain suspicion. Or perhaps this guest was unknown even to Kraus. If this wasn't an assassin called by Kraus to give him an advantage in the inheritance problem, then maybe they should speak frankly to Kraus beforehand, creating a common front to resist anything disadvantageous to the four siblings. If she was Kinzo's assassin, whose purpose was to keep the inheritance from being handed over to the four siblings, the enmity between Kraus and the other siblings could only become a weak point that benefited the enemy. Ooh, narrative is right. Well then, please enjoy at your leisure. When he finished explaining the reasoning behind the table setting and the cooking, Goda tried to leave the room, but Kairi called him to stop with a small voice. Yes, Kairi-sama? What is it? Please excuse me. I was under the impression we had company today, but can we expect to be joined at the dinner table? She had planned on saying it nonchalantly, but unfortunately it reached to the ears of Natsuhi, who was sitting in the next seat over. Maybe I should have, like, diagrammed out the seating chart, because it seems weirdly important how specifically they went into the seating chart for the table. Like, it was like Kraus, Ava, Rudolph, child hitter Rosa, and then it was, I think, the siblings in birth order, so these four, and then I think it was like Nanjo, and that was it, basically. It seemed that Natsui had heard it. Even though the guests are here, why hasn't the host come to dinner? In other words, that Kairi had asked whether Kinzo was going to join them for dinner. Maybe it sounds better in Japan. I don't know. Japanese. The family head is not at his best, so he said he would take the dinner in his study. I believe my husband has explained that in the beginning. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Natsui's reaction instantly told Kairi that this unknown visitor was also unknown to Kraus and his wife. Which meant on the chessboard inside Kairi's mind, she could hear the clattering of the pieces as they rearranged themselves. What do you mean we have company? Battler, who had been sitting next to Natsui, seemed to have heard Kairi's words without misunderstanding them. Thinking it strange that someone else would be invited to today's family conference, he spoke up incredulously. And thanks to that, the uncomfortable feeling building in the siblings' chests suddenly exploded. Everyone looked at Goda at the same time. Judging by their reactions, it was clear that no one here had invited that mystery woman. For an instant, Goda was startled to find everyone's gazes gathered on him, but because of his naturally vain personality, this actually gave him a feeling of superiority. Therefore, he answered in an extremely calm and graceful manner. That is correct. Our guest wanted to eat alone in the VIP room and is being served there. We're just being told a whole ass different story this episode. It's crazy. That extremely graceful and reasonable response of Goda's made it obvious to everyone that a 19th person, a visitor, existed. You know, maybe Beatrice isn't real. I'm still not over this whole use of the word Twilight. Like, I feel like it should have all happened, like, every single day. This happened one day. This happened one day. Nope, it all happened in 2 days. I don't really even think this one happened. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. I don't even think that shit happened. This shit all happened, but that's all easy to do. We still don't know if Beatrice was at the end of the first episode. Meanwhile, they spent half the day, the first episode, they spent the whole time up until the very end debating the existence of a 19th person. This isn't as obvious as they want us to believe. I'm not even really sure if I trust this whole episode from like a storytelling perspective. I wonder if my I was charging my electric toothbrush. I want to see if the mic picks it up. Oh my god, it totally does. That's awful. I can't believe I just did that in the mic. The electric toothbrush. I don't know when it's supposed to be done charging, though. This is like the first electric toothbrush I've had in my whole life. Oh, it needs to be cleaned. It's like all this like toothpaste shit. Ew. Oh, that's gross. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. Yeah, they're all saying, oh, there is a 19th person. They're in the VIP room. What are you talking about? Natsui's words echoed the question that everyone who didn't know about the appearance of the Golden Witch was thinking. For a while, Goda was disoriented, caught completely off guard by this sudden interrogation. This was a guest who had been treated with such deep respect. He hadn't imagined that Kraus and his wife might not even know about her. The guest is, Beatrice-sama. Beatrice! See? Beatrice came! Ugh! I haven't done one of those in a hot second. That feels nostalgic. Hasn't done that all week. Maria had been telling the other cousins over and over again that she had met Beatrice that day. The cousins had answered flippantly, but they hadn't believed. So their eyes grew wide. Sorry, I totally thought you were joking, Maria. So she really was there. By Beatrice, you mean That Beatrice with the gold? Ugh. I've been saying she exists the whole time. No one believes. Sorry, Maria-chan. That's not how we meant it. Yeah, that's how I meant it. We don't ever see her. If I don't see her, she's not real. It's that simple. After learning that everyone had doubted Beatrice's existence, Maria, who had been in good mood all day, completely lost her temper. George, who sat in the next seat over, tried frantically to calm Maria. Goda. Is this some sort of dinner and entertainment? Quite a performance. Anarchy. Quit playing dumb. You called her here, right? Called? Called whom? From where? Nissan, let's be clear about this. Who is she? Surely you aren't going to tell us that she really is the Beatrice from the portrait, right? But he knows the gold is real, to be fair. He knows the gold is real. I don't have a clue from what you people are talking about. Goda, you really aren't joking, right? I was just ordered by Genji-san. Call for Genji. Immediately. When Natsuki yelled, Goda sped out into the hallway. She is a battle axe. The sound of the door being thrown open was the spark that suddenly set the dinner table ablaze. So you're saying you're in the dark too, Anaki. Who called her? Was it Dad? I don't know anything about this. It seems you people think I've been pulling the strings from behind the scenes, but that's a huge misunderstanding. Calm down, Kraus Nissan. We've gone past the stage of skirmishing with each other. If you're saying you don't even know this mystery person, then something crazy's going on. A Saturn burger? Hideyoshi-san, can't you be a little more discreet with your words? My husband would not invite unnecessary people to the family conference. Obviously. What are you people talking about? Are you saying the Witch of the Portrait has broken out of her frame and appeared? It's not as though anyone's actually met with this witch face to face, right? I met her. Eva and Rudolph nodded at Rose's proclamation. Ugh! I met her too! Uncle Kraus, believe it! Believe Mama! Ugh! The brief tension was broken, and Maria also started to make a ruckus. By now, the room was thoroughly wrapped in chaos. I don't have a clue what's going on. So what does it mean? Does it mean the witch who gave grandfather the gold is showing up as a special guest this year? But is that really true? Aunt Rosa didn't see it wrong, did she? I met her too! Ugh! Aunt Rosa, are you sure? Yes. Maria and I met her, and we even talked to her. I met her. That was definitely a witch. Believe me, I definitely didn't see it wrong or hallucinate or anything. What on earth was that? In the instant before the typhoon arrived, Rosa definitely met with a witch in the rose garden. But the scene had been so hard to accept as truth that the more she spoke of it like this, the less she understood what was she had encountered. Ironically, since she was losing her composure, the more frantically she tried to cling to her claim, the more confused and hazy the thing she was describing became. Because of that, it only took a single, calmly spoken sentence to confirm the nature of what she was describing beyond doubt. I also met with her. Oh, yeah, that's right. I greeted. Well, I wouldn't really call it that. I exchanged a few words with her. It's definitely not something that Rosa-san just saw wrong. Kairi-san, are you serious? Yes, but she didn't tell me her name, so I can't say for certain that she was Beatrice. However, and sorry if this is subjective, but since I met her in the entrance hall, I was able to compare her face with the portrait. What's up with this portrait? I'm really confused. This is different than the regular portrait. My first impression was that this portrait has to be hers. Why am I getting Steam pop-ups? I need to turn those off. Dong ding. That isn't possible. In the first place, where did that woman come from? The only boat arriving today was the one that brought all of you here. Was she on that boat? Well, it's hard to say for sure. Of course, I don't remember any woman like that getting off the boat with us. Oh, is that all? Can you prove that there wasn't a boat besides the one we rode on? You can't. You can't prove one didn't arrive. Makes sense. If another boat did arrive, it might be possible to prove it. If someone saw it and said they saw it, then you're done. But it's impossible to prove that such a boat didn't arrive. Even if everyone says that no such boat arrived, that they didn't see it arrive, you can't prove it didn't arrive secretly. He is correct. It's the thing they call a devil's proof. It'd be simple to prove that devils exist. All you have to do is meet a devil. But it's impossible to prove that devils don't exist. Yeah, I can actually say that. Just by saying that no one has ever met a devil, you can't deny the possibility that they're hiding away somewhere humans can't go. You can't deny the existence of aliens for exactly the same reason. Until humanity searches the whole of space and can show perfectly that aliens don't exist, you can't be sure that they don't exist. They're just telling us. And it's definitely impossible to ever check the entirety of space for the existence of aliens. Therefore, while there may be a number of ways to prove that aliens do exist, it will always be impossible to show proof that denies their existence. So any discussion about there being a second boat would just be a waste of our time. She wasn't on the boat with us. That much is a fact. So we must have arrived on this island through some other means. That's right. There may be no need to discuss how she came here. What's important is she's actually in this mansion now and doesn't feel like having dinner with us. Okay, let's review. Right now, there's another guest on this island, other than the 18 people with the Ashiramiya family. And this is a guest even Anaki and Natsui-san don't know about, right? I know nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Be silent for now. Your headache will get worse. It is as my wife says. I have no idea what you people have been talking about up until now. Then there can only be one answer. Father called her here. Called her here for today's family conference. For the family conference? Again? Why? I don't know that. I'm questioning you because I thought you might know. Ava, could you give it a rest? House Nissan says he doesn't know. So here's what we've got. Father stealthily invited the Witch of the Portrait as a secret guest. And she met with Rosa-san and Maria-chan and then Kairi-san. I think it was the other way around, actually. That's all for now. Plus, they never mentioned the umbrella. Like, that's a detail that seems really important to me, is that whenever Maria's talking with the witch in the first episode, she keeps mentioning how the witch gives her her umbrella. But, like, in the second episode, when we see supposedly, at least if I'm understanding it right, if I have the timeline, like, in my head right, and I probably don't, because I'm just a total scatterbrain. The umbrella's never mentioned, was never mentioned in that dialogue scene. And it kind of gives credence to this idea that Beatrice doesn't exist, because Beatrice could have just been somebody else or made up. There's just other explanations that seem equally possible right now. That, to me, that's like one of the more interesting examples of Beatrice not being real. Now we've got to wonder why she set herself up without greeting us. Does this mean Dad, who never gave a crap about this family conference in the first place, secretly called a new mistress here and had her wear the clothes of his ideal witch? Oh god. This day's too important for that explanation to fly. There could only be one reason. To join in on the family conference. She wants to claim some right to father's inheritance. Ridiculous! The family head wouldn't have something as filthy as a mistress. I told you to shut the fuck up. I've lived in this mansion with father all this time, and I've never heard a thing about something like that. If we stretch plausibility to the limit and assume father had an illegitimate child with some mistress decades ago, then maybe father searched her out and called her here today. Is that what you're trying to say? Thea, it's absurd to think father has such a child. To waste the noble blood of the Ashiromiya family on a mistress. This is nothing more than a few people making wild claims. It's obviously a fantasy, a delusion, a daydream. Or is everyone taking part in some kind of act that tricked my husband? What act? If anyone's acting, it's you. You're too fucking much, Natsui. Quit it, Aniki. Natsui-san may be a bit over vehement, but she's right. Kairi saw her. I didn't. Neither did you, Aniki. But Rosa did. But that means she exists. There are people who can prove she exists. So we're sure right away that she does. And the whole other thing, which I haven't brought up here, is the whole thing that she's showing herself here. So is it easy for her to show up until the 9th Twilight or not? There are people who, okay. It's the opposite of a devil's proof. And I want to meet her too. I want to ask her directly what kind of business she has with the Shiromiya family. I agree with you on that. I do indeed wish to inquire as to what business she has on Rakunjima. Don't play dumb. There's only one thing she could be after. Father's inheritance. We should work out our future plans with a lawyer who's hot on inheritance issues. If the mistress claims equal rights as mother, then our shares will be cut right in half. Wait a second, everybody. Genji-san will come very soon. He knows everything. I'm sure he'll answer our questions. Until then, let's stop talking about this. Hey, you kids. Sorry, but the adults have to stop talking about something complicated. Return to the guest house. Rosa yelled out at the children, slightly overcome with emotion. The children didn't understand why they were suddenly being yelled at this time, but Ava and the rest realized it a bit too late. They were talking so bluntly about the filthy topic of the inheritance right in front of the children. Of course they wouldn't want their children to remain. So they all immediately agreed with Rosa's plan. That's right, just as Rosa-san says. George, take all the cousins and go back to the guest house. You all play nice together. George, do as you're told. Am I streaming the wrong thing? I am. Whoops. I forgot to change my subject. Oops. That'll happen. Oh wait, now I have it on answer arcs. Shit, I'm so dumb. There we go. Okay, Jesus Christ. This is streaming. This is high quality streaming tonight. What is Mega Bonk? I'm getting so sidetracked, it's insane. I'm just falling down a rabbit hole right now. Oh my god, that's incredible. Oh, wait, do I have to sneeze? Oh, might have to sneeze. Okay. I'm really sniffly all of a sudden. And I have no snacks, which is the really big issue at hand. Take all the cousins and leave right now. But wait a second, Mother. We still haven't finished eating. Ugh! And dessert hasn't even come yet. Ugh! We will have Goda-san take dessert to the guest house. So leave. That seems like an interesting detail they never revealed before. Jessica, from here on, the adults will be talking together. Go. Sure. Even though I'm still eating. Well, I guess I won't be the only exception. Thanks for understanding, Valor-kun. But you sure are lucky. Huh? Why? I'd want to leave if I could. I bet. I'll let you adults enjoy your happy family chat about the inheritance. I will also leave my seat. At any rate, it appears my turn will not come tonight. Did he know he wasn't gonna die tonight? Nanjo quietly rose to his feet. From his seat in the farthest corner, he had been calmly watching the whole discussion without butting in. Surely the reaction of his is very adult, just what you'd expect of a calm old gentleman. When Nanjo rose from his seat, it ended up encouraging the others who were supposed to leave. The children noisily rose from their seats, and as they hurried into the hallway, the servants returned. I apologize for taking so long. I've called Genji. I was checking to see if all the doors and windows were shut, so it took me some time. My apologies. Come on, children, to the guest house. Goda-san, my apologies, but could you carry the children's portion of desserts to the guest house? Ah. Is that what you wish? It seemed Goda wasn't amused to see dinner he'd worked on so hard on interrupted like this. He sent Natsuhi a look as though asking her whether that was really okay. Do as Rosa-san says, and it would not be necessary to set out dessert for us. Do not approach the dining hall until we call for you. Tell the rest of the servants to do the same. Understood? Yes. As you wish. Come, everyone, shall we go? Maria-san, you mustn't trouble your mother anymore. Ugh! I want to talk about Beato too. No, no, no! Ugh! Maria-chan, could you tell us about Beatrice in the guest house? I really want to hear about the witch, okay? Ugh! Ugh! God, you're pretty darn smooth, George Nissan. He's great with kids. He's great with kids. I mean, his wife's one, so he's really good with them, I guess. George Nissan, I'm impressed. Are you sure you don't have any kids? You're too used to this. George's words have completely restored Maria's good mood, and now she took the initiative, telling the others to head onto the guest house. It looks like Goda did. Like he kicked out himself, but he couldn't disobey Natsui. So he left the room with Battler and the rest, closing the door. Is there some way I might be of service, everyone? Yeah, there sure is. We've got a whole bunch of questions. In fact, every one of us does. So much that we almost want to have a lottery to see who gets to ask first. But no matter who wins the first lottery, the first question will be the same, won't it? That's right. Genji-san, answer me honestly. Who is this person called Beatrice in the VIP room right now? Oh, really? They're gonna do that to me? Alright, it's been 3 hours. It's now 10 o'clock. I can read Roman numerals. Holy shit. Super late. It's like 3 hours before the first. I think both times the murders happen at around 1 o'clock, which is interesting. Hideyoshi's claim that advertising doubled the taste was apparently right. After being chased out to the guest house, the kids and Nanjo had gathered in the cousin room and were eating cake that... What the fuck is Nanjo doing there? Nanjo in the cousin had gathered in the cousin room and were eating cake that Kumasawa had brought for dessert. It was both wonderful and high class, topped with lavish amounts of cream and decorated deliciously with fruits. But delicious as it was, it didn't taste quite as good for some reason. Haha, without Goda-san selling it, it isn't nearly as good. And if we ask Kumasawa-san to sell it, she'd just say it's made of mackerel. Ugh! Really? You could make a cake from mackerel? Ha ha ha. Absolutely. As you can see, this very cake, if you mix the squeezed juice of mackerel with flour and eggs before cooking, it comes out all fluffy. Oh ho ho. That'd be incredible, if true. Maybe mackerel cake will show up on the menu at one of Father's restaurants. After all, mackerel's full of nutrients and sounds healthy. This Sonic the Hedgehog ass motherfucker, I'm so done with his shit. It might get really popular with women and the elderly, but I'm not gonna get anywhere near it. Girls won't want to eat something weird, you doofus. Even the elderly would wish to decline. Ho 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 ho. But it's delicious, you know? Kumasawa was really cheering up the mood with her classic mackerel jokes. But the sound of the downpouring rain kept turning their attention towards the mystery guest. In the end, they showered Maria with questions again, since she was the only person here to have met Beatrice. Oh, they also haven't talked about the whole reading of the letter thing. I just, like, it just seems so weird to, like, have to splice everything that's been happening onto what we saw in episode 1. I can't believe she was actually telling the truth. You make it sound as though you never believed it. This Maria meets with the witch business isn't news to you. Yeah, I thought it was just one of those fairy tales you'd expect from a dreamy kid that age. She exists! Beatrice exists! Every year when we come to the family conference, I meet her and we play together. That's right. Although Beatrice Saba doesn't usually show herself, I hear she sometimes unexpectedly appears before honest people with clean hearts. Beatrice referred to that character in the fairy tale about the Rokonjima witch. To keep Kinzo in a good mood, the family and servants acted as though they believed in the witch of his delusions. That's how Rokonjima's fairy tale, or maybe ghost story, had come into being. To the family members who knew that backstory, the fairy tale of the Golden Witch wasn't something to be taken too seriously. However, they were never able to say that out loud in front of Kinzo. Because of that night, the legend of the witch carried a lot more weight to someone than, like, young Maria. Who didn't know the story of how it had come into being. But that's why Maria believed in the legend of the witch. She accepted it entirely. That was only natural for an imaginative girl who believed in witches. So people had avoided saying things that would betray her dream. On the contrary, they worked together to say and do things that would help liven up her dreams without her knowing. So when Maria Chan was showing us that candy that supposedly came from Beatrice, I figured someone subtly slipped it into her handbag. I have done similar things a few times in the past. Secretly placing sweets somewhere. I even imagined Kumasawa-san, or rather all of the servants, and everyone in the Ushiramiya family has done it once or twice. So if it'll make a small, innocent kid happy, you might place a sweet somewhere and have everyone join in on keeping the secret alive for her. Come to think of it, I'll bet you do the same kind of thing all the time, George Anarchy. Who knows? It'd probably be boorish to admit such a thing out loud. George admitted it while being extremely wary that Maria didn't find out. In other words, it's kind of like Santa Claus. To protect a kid's dreams, the parents plot together and lie, setting presents at the bedside of a child fastest. That's not where they put the presents. They put them under the tree. After all, you want to protect a kid's dreams, right? What is this? Oh, it's like caked filth on my mouse. Sweet. My mouse is fucking so dirty. Oh my fucking god. Or is this like the adhesive? I think it's the adhesive of the sticker. Yeah, that's what it is. At least that's what I'm hoping it is. Obviously, I've known Santa doesn't exist for a long time now, but if there's no reason to wake up from a dream like that, I wish I could have believed it all my life. Yeah, I think it's much more fun to believe Santa's real. See, that's the whole thing about Beatrice. Maybe just believing in Santa is more fun. Because adults know that the world is filled with terrible shit. They all want to at least protect the pure dreams of a child. Ugh! Beatrice exists! Exists! Yes, she does. Beatrice-sama does exist, right? Some time ago when I was drying mackerel to make some black tea. Suddenly. Well, it basically goes something like that. Supposedly, at least. So simply put, this was supposed to be a witch that no one but Maria believed in. I wouldn't phrase it quite like that. The point isn't that we didn't believe, we were all trying to give her a chance to believe. So, this is not about betraying a child's innocence, but Santa doesn't exist in reality. If you don't want kids to be all disappointed when they learn the truth, you'd better off not. You're better off not. You'd be better off not showing them that dream in the first place. I don't know. If I had a kid, I wouldn't freaking tell them about that Santa shit being real. I would tell them just like it's all about giving gifts, showing each other you appreciate. I don't know. I wouldn't engage in Santa Claus acceptance in my hypothetical household home that I would own. But also, my chances of getting a home like slim to none. Is is the fact that I think like this that I think like this proof that is the fact that I think like this proof that I'm still a long way from becoming a full adult. You're 18, dog. The true nature of the Rokonjima witches was finally starting to shape in Battler's mind. However, their current situation overrode this understanding, and in fact, it completely overturned its very presence. So, we thought we knew what was going on, but now Beatrice Sama, the witch, has actually appeared in reality. Is that it? And judging by how freaked our parents were, it looks like she was invited as a guest. Now it's starting to get interesting. There's no reason for us to simply assume that a woman called Beatrice doesn't exist. It's what Uncle Rudolph called a devil's proof. None of us knew that a woman calling herself Beatrice existed. But that's not the same as proving that Beatrice doesn't exist. I don't know. Dr. Nanjo, you've been friends with grandfather for a long time, right? At one point during the family conference, I was questioned quite thoroughly by Kraus-san and the others. They wanted to know if, long ago, Kinzo might have had a mistress called Beatrice and an illegitimate child with her. I get it. Our parents have their heads full with the inheritance problem. So, of course, if the daughter of a mistress like that showed up, it'd be troublesome for them. Kraus-san and the rest probably asked Genji-san about it first. However, Genji-san is an aide whose sworn loyalty to Kinzo-san and probably a friend more trusted by Kinzo-san than myself. I doubt he told them anything, so next they want to ask me as an old friend of his. And did grandfather have a lover called Beatrice, Dr. Nanjo? He did. Interesting.
Eee.
He did. No, I have never met her. However, I heard from Kinzo-san that he had a relationship with a woman like that. He said she passed away a very long time ago. She's dead. So, did the two of them have a kid? That I do not know. But Kinzo-san always said that reviving Beatrice is the goal of his research. Usually, if one loses a mistress, but has a child left to remember them by, they pour all their love onto that child. Therefore, we naturally assume that there is no such child between Kinzo-san and Beatrice. Maybe there's two Beatrices. Maybe there's like this Beatrice, which is like the child Beatrice, like the 19th person who is maybe his daughter, like a Beatrice Jr. And as an adult, there's another Beatrice that gave birth to her and died. But still, she'd have to be pretty... I don't think the timeline would max up, and she looks too young and is dressing like a schoolgirl, which is weird. So that leaves us with another devil's proof. Yeah, it's impossible to prove that a child between him and the mistress didn't exist. So now that child has actually appeared, and we have to assume that she did exist after all. That's a bit of a rushed argument. It's more realistic that someone caught wind of the trouble with the Yoshiramiya family inheritance, knew about grandfather's relationship with a mistress long ago, and impersonated her, trying to take a slice of the inheritance for themselves. I actually like that theory, George. Sure, that is realistic, but we can't deny the possibility that she really is an illegitimate child. One who lived in isolation, forgotten by grandfather, and who's returned for revenge, right? Revenge? What do you mean? Sorry. Guys just like to dramatize stuff to make it sound interesting. I've seen too many weird dramas. Normally that might have come across as a light joke, but the joke had landed after an uninvited mystery guest calling herself Beatrice had marched in on the day of the family conference where the bloody argument that the inheritance had become took center stage. There was no way Battler's joke would be welcomed with laughter. Damn, you got the whole squad laughing. That's so crazy, Battler. You've got the whole squad laughing. Yeah. Ha ha ha, I see, that does sound quite intriguing. I would love to read a novel with a plot like that. Well, I don't think it could actually work. After all, right now on this island, there's 1, 2, 3, a full 18 people, right? If anyone tries to do something weird, they'll immediately get caught. For some reason, my mouse is not level. I'm not sure. It's not the desk. What is causing my mouse to wobble a bit? Maybe I'm just crazy. Yeah, that's probably it. Bum, 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 bum. And thanks to the typhoon, they can even leave. In other words, if you tried to commit some crazy crime, you'd be screwed. I agree. In a dead end without any way to escape, and then in a situation where everyone's really suspicious of her. Yeah, she's on death round, buddy. I seriously doubt she could pull off a terrifying revenge drama like that. Probably not. In that case, it would be more realistic if she had come in secret without making her presence known. I simply cannot imagine someone appearing openly to take revenge outside of some historical drama. Well, who knows, right? Revenge is based on emotion, not logic. If you've got someone willing to go down along with their opponent, they might not be afraid of anything, not even the police or large numbers of people. It's okay, Jessica-chan. None of the disturbing things we're imagining will happen. Like the battle royale between our parents over the inheritance. Dude, the phrase, this predates the phrase battle royale, actually. Actually, the phrase battle royale wasn't claimed until, like, the movie Battle Royale. 2000. Japanese movie. Oh no, I'm falling down a rabbit hole again. Oh no, I gotta stop myself. None of the disturbing things we're imagining will happen, blah blah blah, battle royale, blah blah blah. That's right. Hold on, I gotta make sure I fix this right now, or else it's gonna keep bugging me. Give me like a second. Never mind, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. That's right. Dad and Uncle Rudolph are pretty tough, and Aunt Ava's trained in martial arts. Oh, it does come up again. We'll be fine. Yeah. Man, they really took creative liberties with Battler's hair. Why are these goofy fuckers? They usually played nice in front of the children, but when their pretense was lifted away, like it had been at dinner, the result would be a tumultuous uproar. After realizing this, it was only natural for Jessica to be frightened at the thought. Her parents might get caught up in some kind of trouble and become human sacrifices for something terrifying. Seriously? George Oneki's right. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing ever happens. Even if she pretends she's a witch. What can a single human woman who can't even use magic do? That's so right, Battler. That's so right. Then, the sudden, creepy laugh made all of them jump. And when they realized the strange laugh was coming from Maria, they were shocked again. I see. So that's how you see it, Battler. What is this? Don't laugh all creepy like that. You accept Beatrice's existence for now. At least you accept her as a 19th person and a guest. But that's all right? You don't accept that the 19th person, Beatrice, is a witch, right? Huh? Of all the crazy things to say, of course that's what I think. Witches couldn't possibly exist. The only possibility is that she's a human woman claiming to be a witch. Isn't that odd, Battler? That's a devil's proof, isn't it? Of course witches don't exist. But just because you've never met a witch, that doesn't mean you've proven that witches don't exist, right? Nope, witches just don't exist. That's right. You're not wrong there. I can't prove that witches don't exist. However, if I can't prove it, I can claim it. I can claim that witches don't exist. Why? How can you claim that witches don't exist, even though you can't prove it? They killed Charlie Kirk. It's that simple. Because things like that don't exist. So, that's QED? You've finished your proof without any evidence or basis. Now there's a typical case of the ignorant willfully ignoring the shallowness of their own knowledge. A reckless suspension of thought. I don't really think it's reckless. Then there's only one way to resolve this, Maria. The witch's side needs to show some proof themselves. It's a devil's proof again. If you bring me a devil, we can end this right now. In this case, we can just get this woman calling herself Beatrice to display some wonderful, magnificent magic, like twinkling stars. All that she has to do is show us something that's impossible for humans, right? Come now, you two. Please settle down. Kumasawa noticed the atmosphere between them was getting worse and tried to calm it. However, why did I add a however? It seemed as though Battler quickly realized that he wasn't acting like an adult. Why is he not acting like an adult? But Maria's expression didn't loosen. As she laughed creepily, she kept staring at Battler. You quit it too, Maria. Let's get back in a good mood, okay? If that's what you want, Beatrice will definitely show you something impossible for humans. When she does, you'll believe too, okay? You'll believe in Beatrice. Sure. If she lets me have a look, I'll believe. It's a chess debate between the witch and you, Battler. If you get checkmate, you'll believe in the witch. Oh, I like the way you put that. The witch shows her magic. My king is put into check. I quibble, saying it'd be possible to reproduce her feat using measures even though a human could take, and my king escapes. Failing to do that would be a checkmate, so that's a pretty good analogy. Battler. In chess, you and your opponent have pieces that move in the same way, so you can predict your opponent's moves. But you know what? What you aren't expecting is that your opponent's pieces might be able to move in ways far stranger than yours. You simply assume that since witches must not exist, the movement of Beatrice's pieces will obviously be the same as your own. But you know what? Sorry, Battler, but your chess partner isn't human. She's a witch. She can move her pieces in ways that humans can't. Right now, your understanding is flawed. Battler, you like Aunt Kyrie's chessboard thinking, right? Yeah, I like that style of thinking, where you stand in your opponent's shoes. And that's why you'll get stuck. Even though your opponent is a witch, you won't accept it. So you can't understand the moves a witch might make, and your chessboard thinking won't work. Your knowledge of your opponents is mistaken. The very first premise of chessboard thinking is broken down. Ah, so that's your game. You cannot win chess against a witch. That's wild. Roses. I don't know what happened after that. We servants were strictly ordered not to approach the dining room. I see. Oh god. So Shannon, have you ever met this person called Beatrice before? I don't know. That was a slightly odd way to say it. It didn't sound as if she was saying her memory was hazy. For us servants, Beatrice-sama is a second master of this mansion. Some people say we've spread that rumor because of the master's influence, but even when I started working here, the story of Beatrice-sama was already being whispered of. I've heard stories about it before. If you don't show her respect, you'll get cursed. And at least one servant actually did meet with an accident, right? I think they said it was Lunan. I'm not sure. There was a name like Lunan being dropped. But it's true that some people believed more than others. I believe respect for that sort of thing shouldn't be forgotten, so I have never doubted that she exists. I vaguely believe that a shadowy being called the Golden Witch existed, and then that witch, whose existence was so shadowy and obscure, actually showed herself and entered openly through the entrance hall. Is that what happened? Oh wait, that's George. And then that witch, whose existence was so shadowy and obscure, actually showed herself and entered openly through the entrance hall. Is that what happened? I don't know. I don't know anything. When you brought her dinner, did you talk about anything? No, nothing. I see. Still, a witch that eats food somehow doesn't sound so realistic. Maybe after all, it's just someone who knows about the legend of the witch on this island, someone who's taking on Beatrice's name. I think you've probably come to respect Beatrice and think of her as something like a guardian god of the mansion. So when a person appeared actually going by that name, maybe you were a little disturbed. That's right. Yep, totally. I guess that must be the case. George was slightly at a loss at what to do about Shannon's downcast appearance. Maybe not just Genji, but even the young servants had been ruthlessly questioned as to whether they knew anything about this Beatrice person. Thinking of that, he tried to cheer her up somehow. Surely, just like Maria and Jessica, Shannon was unable to fully hide the agitation caused by the sudden visit of this person calling herself the Golden Witch. He'd be so sure that was the case. He'd been so sure, bleh. But George probably had no way of looking into Shannon's heart. Shannon was bitter and sad. Yeah, because she's about to get her shit clipped. The doors of the Golden Land would be opened. The witch had definitely told her that. That meant the demise of everything. Even if she accepted the ring from George, they would never be married now. No, in that first place, did furniture like her even have the right to be married? Oh my god. Homunculus theory. We live and die by homunculus theory. Even if the witch hadn't come to signal their demise, wasn't their relationship fated to fail sooner or later? Yeah, man, that's just how relationships work. That's just a part of life. This shit's all fucked up. What's wrong? You really haven't looked well for a while now. George-san, what does it mean to be engaged? Huh? It means making a promise to marry. But I think in that sense, it means the same thing as marriage. To be honest, I want to take you home as my wife right away. George! She's 16, dog! Stop it. Get some help. But right now, I'm in the middle of training, and I'm still a long way from having the capacity to create my own castle. That's why I want to take you home. That's why I want to take you home with me, with my head held high, only after I become a full adult. I'm not talking about the distant future. I just want you to wait 3 short years. But that doesn't mean I want to lie about my feelings for another 3 years. So I decided to give you an engagement ring. That might be shameful. A shameful reason as a man. Maybe it's shameful to get engaged because I want you to wait, since I can't support my work and wife at the same time yet. But I will definitely. Thank you very much. I understand that you, George-san, that to you, George-san, an engagement ring means something different from one of many presents you'd give to a lover. Of course it's different. It's a ring, dumbass. It's an oath between lovers, a noble promise left in the form of a ring. Giggle. I'm about to be stabbed. So if we get married right away, it'd be completely meaningless, right? Then it wouldn't be an engagement ring. I'd give it to you as a wedding ring. Either way, I'd still be giving you a ring. So it's a sold sign, like saying, this woman is mine, nobody touch her. No, that's not what I... George knew that he was weak by nature. When he'd been captivated by Shannon and had sworn to become an excellent man, she also sworn to throw away that weak part of himself. So, even if he had been blunt about it, he chose to answer a little roughly. He was sure that doing so would bolster and reassure Shannon. No, that may be true. Sayo, I'll make you my wife. I won't give you to anyone else. I'll make you mine alone. So no one will lay a hand on you. That's what this ring is, without a doubt. Thank you very much, George-san. I'm truly happy. And George-san, if it was decided by fate that this engagement ring if this promise could never be fulfilled, would you still give it to me? Shannon tried to ask that, but she swallowed her words, because George had already spoken the answer. George had said it. He said that to him, an engagement ring was infinitely similar to a wedding ring. Therefore, accepting George's ring had a significance far more sacred than a promise to marry. So, I'll stop calling this an engagement ring. From now on, this isn't an engagement. It's a wedding ring. Is that really okay? Is it okay to just proclaim that we're married without even God's blessing? Yeah. It's enough to tell God, Father, and Mother about it afterwards. We'll tell them. We'll tell them all that we've been married. No one will be able to undo it. George-san. I'm not just saying this because of a momentary emotion. I'm not just looking at how you are now. I'm looking at you of tomorrow, of the next day. I'm even gazing at you as you'll be in old age, the future, as I say this. You're always talking about that, George-san. About how you want to enjoy your old age slowly, surrounded by healthy children and grandchildren. Yeah. At that time, an older you will be beside me. 7 years younger. That is what I expect. No, what I foresee. Yes. Because that day will surely come. Will it surely come? Yes. Surely. Definitely. And this ring proves it, without words. Please, show me. Huh? Here it is. I think this is totally being retold. George, thinking he was being told to show her the ring, hurriedly took out the ring box. Even though he had practiced so much, he hadn't been able to do it cool. But Shannon wasn't looking at that. In her straight and direct gaze were vague tears and a smile. She focused her eyes on George's. No, on something he could see between his eyes. Ew. Where's George's hand? Where's George's hand? Pocket. Yep, got it. He's definitely touching his pocket. Please show me that future. Yeah, I'll show you, surely. I promise it. And not just until old age. After we die, too. Even when we become spirits, we'll always be together. Shannon wiped away her tears and took the ring box. Inside was a diamond ring worthy of blessing the two of them. George said that line he'd practiced over and over again inside his head. Will you marry me? Okay. I want you to put this ring on whatever finger you like and have that be your answer. So by tomorrow morning. On giggle, Shannon smiled, took the ring, and with a completely natural movement, put it on the ring finger of her left hand. It looked like such a natural, ordinary movement. And for a while, George was stunned. This is my answer, George-san. Shannon. No, Sayo. Even when we become spirits, we'll always be together, George-san. Including when we get murked, the both of us. There was no blessing from God, no pastor to witness to nothing. But the two who were married proclaimed it. 2 souls were joined here today. Damn, she fucking gets her shit killed so bad. That sucks. There hasn't really been like an oh shit moment, like in a while. Kind of not since the beginning of this episode, really. Nason, you're a fool. You're a fool. Is that so? Even though you're furniture. Even though you're furniture. I'm not furniture. Not anymore. Liar! Why are you fooling yourself? Even though you know you can never become human. Even though you know you can't become human unless you go to the Golden Land. Knowing that, why did you abandon the promise that would let you go there? Oh right, by accepting the ring, that promise of Beatrice-sama comes to nothing, doesn't it? I'm sorry. From now on, from now on, I, you, George-sama, the master, and everyone else are under the same conditions. 13 people will be sacrificed. Only 5 people will be invited to the Golden Land. Who is the 5th person? It's Beatrice, I guess. And you rejected one of those places yourself. That's odd. It looks like you're the one with regrets, Canon-kun. You're the one with regrets, aren't you, Nason? You got engaged, right? Even though you knew it was a fate that would never be fulfilled. Yes, I promised that we would always, always be together for eternity. So you know what? In that instant, our eternity was completed. Even if we become sacrifices, it's already completed. So it's okay. Canon, you're the only one who actually has regrets. We're furniture, right? We'll be free no matter the result. So it doesn't matter whether we go to the Golden Land or not. What a good ending for Shannon, man. What the fuck? I want her to be happy. She's like the nicest one out of all of them. She's so freaking on it. Yet you set on not going there. You want to become human no matter what, right? Why? Because I want to become human. I've had enough of being furniture. Why? I wanted to fall in love too. There were tears coming from Cannon's eyes, and he howled. I liked Milady! And after seeing Milady that day, I started liking her even more. And when I heard that Milady also liked me, I was really happy. But I'm furniture, and I can't accept Milady's feelings. You're wrong, dumbass. We may be furniture. We may be less than human, but that doesn't mean we aren't qualified to love. I thought that... Okay, so the chances of her marrying him are way higher than her marrying him. We don't even know Cannon's real name. I think the phrase attending physician is interesting. I thought that if these feelings wouldn't ever come to anything, I'd be better off not having them. I just decided that eventually I'd disappear, and that it'd definitely hurt her. No, that's wrong. I was just frightened. I was just afraid, thinking that any love that couldn't be eternal was best avoided. Oh, that's so me, Canon. That's so me. Even though their lives last only a few weeks, cicadas fall in love and then vanish. But you'll never find a cicada that refused to fall in love simply because it ended in a few weeks. Ah! Ah! It seemed that Cannon was still muttering his regrets, but by now, it was all jumbled up with his sobs. That witch is detestable. Why did she plant these feelings in me? If only she hadn't pulled that bizarre prank, I wouldn't have paid Milady any notice. Beatrice-sama is detestable. To make you cry bitter tears, she played games with your fate. But I don't think things went as the witch expected. After all, knowing love isn't a regret that ties you to life. It is the destination we're supposed to reach in our journey through life. Just every scene with Sayo is just perfect every time. It's always a banger. She's always in the best scenes. Well now, Canon. I'm not in dialogue boxes right now, which I think is slightly interesting. That promise you worked so hard for has now come to nothing. Cackle, 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 cackle. Very well then. If this, the conditions for all the pieces are the same. There are 18 pieces. 13 will be offered as sacrifices. Who will the 5 survivors be? Oh, I guess Natsui was the 5th survivor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or else, will someone destroy the ceremony? Who? How? This isn't a chess problem. It's a game on an equal footing. I won't be cornering you one-sidedly. You'll be able to frantically escape my advances and force a tie, an invalid match. At any rate, I doubt you can manage more than repeating that over and over. And it probably won't be that difficult for you. Okay, the big question is how did... If the door is supposedly, like, blocked from blocking magic shit from entering Kinzo's study, then how'd the letter get in there? Unless that was the letter meant for Rosa. And what was the one on Natsui's? So many questions, unfortunately. At any rate, I doubt you can manage more than repeating that over and over again. And it probably won't be that difficult for you. However, this invalid match will continue forever, until it eventually wears down your mind and kills it. That is why you'll accept your defeat and surrender to me. There's a reason I said it was a game on an equal footing. That's because the rules for my loss have also been established. There's nothing as boring as a game you can't lose, right? And as for how to defeat me, that would be the epitaph that stands as an offering to my portrait. It's both the way to open the door to the Golden Land and the key to destroying my ceremony. I'll try to complete the ceremony in accordance with the epitaph. You'll try to solve the riddle of the epitaph, destroy the ceremony, and overthrow me. Solve the riddle hidden in the epitaph and expose the location of the vast sum of gold I gave Kinzo. What result will this game show us? I'm expecting a good fight, okay? They did not give a good fight. They just kind of traipsed around the mansion and all died. What's up with her red nail polish there? I hate that Maria's model is freaking huge. I kind of like them. They're kind of unironically. What does Ava do? Doesn't even say what Ava does. Why does he dress like that? Why do any of these assholes dress like this? Yellow tie? Entertain us, Ushiramiya Battler. So is she talking to Canon or Battler? Canon is Battler. fuck is this? Ellipses. I have no objections. Natsuki and I acknowledge it. I can't believe it, and I don't want to. But this is the truth, isn't it? Natsui, choose your words more carefully. She's this family's most honored guest. I also acknowledge it. Can't argue back. Yes, I acknowledge it. I have absolutely no complaints. I can't believe you actually... You have my honest respect. Me too. Incredible. I genuinely respect you, so I have to acknowledge it. I acknowledge it too. I still can't believe it. Still, what can I do? You've proven devils. It's your victory. This is a no shit moment. Cackle, cackle, cackle. The devil's proof was once a convenient excuse used to deal with unprovable facts, but now it's become your mortal enemy, has it not? Don't torture me, mighty witch. I've already acknowledged you. I resign. Kairi, you still have objections? I must have everyone in agreement. If you alone will not acknowledge my existence. As the witch laughed boldly, the siblings started getting frantic. They were afraid of displeasing the witch. Kairi lightly closed her eyes, and after keeping silent for a while, opened her mouth. My apologies. I resign. Only Kairi had faced the witch with stern eyes until the end. However, this had only resulted in her refusing to accept the truth for a short time. Where the fuck are they? The truth, the being that was before her eyes, couldn't be denied. The devils had already been proven. I also acknowledge it. You are Beatrice, the Oshirimiya's family alchemist, and a user of great magic. I must acknowledge the fact that you are a witch. We're getting a bit of a pause here. What was that? Three, 4. It's 4 o'clock. What? It's 4 o'clock? The clock only struck 4 times. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Where's this? This truly is Umineko questions arc. This truly is the questions arc. Oh, what? It's 6 a.m.? Everybody's dead now. Shit. The second day, October 5th, 1986. Oh, I have to stream this game on the 4th. It's the 4th of October is Umineko Day. What day is that actually? Do I have something I should be doing Saturday? Probably not. No, I probably do have something I have to do. What is that sound that always fills my ears? Is it the sound of the rain? The sound of a waterfall? Or could it be... Actually, I'm gonna go breaky real quick. Be right back. Quick breaky. I did not get water, so this might be not be a very long break. Hey. Okay. I think some of that fudge up a couple weeks ago. What is that sound that always fills my ears? Is it the sound of the rain, the sound of a waterfall, or could it be radio static? No, if not, I want it to be the sound of my blood flowing through my body. I want it to be the sound of the blood circulating throughout me, telling me that I'm still alive. Ah, fuck, not this asshole. Oh, gotta move the screen. There we go. Good morning. The light entering through a crack in the curtain was faint, but it at least told him that dawn had broken. Kinzo, still in the position he'd been when he woke up, still sitting in a chair and looking. Dude, he's just zooting. Felt the blood slowly travel throughout his body. Judging by the clock, it was early morning, 6 a.m. on the dot. No matter how tired he was, no matter how deeply he slept, he always woke up at exactly this time, as though he had measured it with an hourglass. Damn, dog, you just have a really good circadian rhythm. How does he drink and do that? That's badass. He didn't think of this as something to boast about, but he told himself that as long as he could still manage this, his health couldn't be that bad. Everybody has an energy reservoir, they simply cannot spend too much of it. Hmm. It would appear that I've avoided becoming one of the first sacrifices. Was I merely lucky when the roulette was spun, or is this the fruit of my efforts? How irritating that I cannot tell the difference, but I mustn't be bothered by such trivialities. Kinzo was struck by a faint desire to see beyond the study door. After all, he might find traces of someone's vain struggle to break through the door. A sign of that a sign that someone had tried to select him as one of the first 6 sacrifices. Hmm. Humans are cheap creatures. Even though everything is ultimately decided by God. Yeah, I don't think nihilism is a good thing, Kinzo. When humans are given good fortune, they arrogantly feel it was due to their own ability. That is why he wanted to check whether there was a wretched mark on the door. The very desire was human, and that was why Kinzo did not check. He often rejected desires that came to him because he was human. By doing that, he could be immersed in a feeling of sufficiency, as though he himself had become a being that surpassed humans, a warlock. He recognized human desires for what they were and guarded against them. Things that a normal human would want to do, he resisted. This eccentricity and rebellious nature had surely given him a rare genius. I was so worried for a second, I just wasn't streaming. Making it possible for him to succeed in his exploits as he revived the Ashiramiya family in a single generation. Well then, Beatrice, what were the 6 pieces you took? And what will your next move be? Entertain me. My defense is perfect. I will not shame myself like last time. What does he mean by last time? I want to see young Kinzo. I really want to see young Kinzo. And not my crackhead Battler is Kinzo theory. Wait, what does Kinzo mean? Gold. And this is the picture. It's just Kinzo with Beatrice's head. That's so good. They had to open the curtains, prepare breakfast, and complete various other tasks to welcome the guests to a new day. Goda was the most enthusiastic. During the family conference, he had been told to concentrate his efforts especially on cooking, and he'd been specially exempted from several tasks that servants normally must do. Goda, who was a show-off, seemed to be feeling particularly superior because of that. He let Genji and the rest prepare the rest of the mansion and worked on making breakfast in the kitchen. Genji split the work with Shannon and Cannon. They're dead. Well, Shannon's dead. What? Huh? You're supposed to be dead, girly pop. You're supposed to be like dead. Shannon headed to the dining hall and knocked. Last year, the family conference had continued into the early hours of the morning. It wouldn't have been odd if this year's conference had done the same. Considering the possibility that they were still having discussions inside, she knocked, but there was no response, so she opened the door and said good morning. Good morning. Is anyone there? The room was cold, and the conference seemed to have ended a long time before. There was a tea set on the table from which they'd probably been drinking, arranged in a way that would make it easy to clean up. Cleaning up tea was a servant's job. If the family members were extra generous and cleaned it up themselves, the servants would lose face. So it was truly a pleasant act of kindness for the family to do only this much. As she approached the table to clean it, she noticed something like a memo that had been left near the utensils and cups. Since it was right next to the tea set, Shannon picked it up, and naturally thinking it was a memo for the servant doing the cleaning. Written there was not a request, nor was it thanks for preparing the tea. There was just a single word. Shannon looked at it blankly and read it out loud. Chapel. A small sound kept repeating over and over. Normally, that sound would have been too trivial to be worth caring about. If if only I could stop hearing it soon, I could go back to sleep right away, she thought vaguely. But no matter how much time passed, the sound did not end. This is gonna be Natsui. It repeated over and over. Ah, shut up. Who is it? Banging on the door this whole time. As soon as she realized that, she woke up. Someone was knocking. Then she noticed that it wasn't just a knock, but a voice as well. Rosa-sama, Rosa-sama, good morning. Wait, I'm coming now. It had been Genji's voice. Looking at the clock, it wasn't even 7 yet. What the fuck? They're still alive. It clearly was too early to wake the guests. Did something happen that was bad enough to cause this? She felt her sleepiness increasingly fade thanks to his premonition of misfortune. Though Genji was a servant, Rosa had known him since her childhood days, so even though she was slightly defenseless in her pajamas, she opened the door. Kraken answered. Different fit? Different fit? Good morning. I apologize for waking you this early. Did something happen? Yes. Actually, at the chapel. Genji whispered something into Rosa's ear. For a second, it seems Rosa couldn't understand what she'd been told. After having it repeated several times, she realized that apparently something strange had happened. Rosa closed her door for a second, changed into clothes quickly, and followed Genji towards the mansion. What the fuck is going on? Oh, wait, is she in the guest house? The chapel requires some explanation. It wasn't in the mansion, but in a grove behind it, a short walk's distance away. Why are they just now telling us about this? It had been built at the same time as the mansion. Although its walls had been repaired many times, making it look new from the outside, it was a very old building. Rosa dashed through the rain along with Genji. Just like the previous night, the rain was falling in earnest. Eventually, the chapel came into sight from beyond the thin grove. Just looking at it from the outside, it seemed a place of dazzling beauty where a pair of young lovers might want to get married. Oh, is that where George and Shannon are going to get married? However, Kinzo apparently viewed it as a very sacred place. So Rosa and her siblings had been given strict instructions not to approach it unnecessarily. Even though they were all grown up now, approaching the chapel for any reason would still make them feel guilty. Are they being led here to be killed? As if their father might get angry and hit them in the face. The servants' silhouettes could be seen in front of the chapel's entrance. Goda, Shannon, and Cannon, which meant that all the servants in the morning shift had gathered. A short while ago, Genji had spoken to Rosa, telling her what the situation was. This is so freaking weird. There's something just so not right about this that I think I've been kind of picking up the whole time. However, without laying eyes on it directly, she definitely hadn't been able to understand. It was probably the same for all the servants gathered here as well. Without seeing it with their own eyes, they wouldn't be able to understand what was going on. On the door to the entrance to the chapel was some very large, drawn with a creepy, stringy paint that made one think of blood. Something like a creepy magic circle. What is this? When was it drawn here? The servants looked at each other. Goda was the first to open his mouth. My apologies. We don't usually enter this building, so we don't know when it was made. Then who was the first person to find it? It was me. Killer Shannon theory is back on the menu, boys. When I went to the dining hall to clean up the tea set, I found a memo with chapel written on it. Shannon held out the memo with a shaking hand. Whose handwriting is it? Is it Nissan or Nissan's? So after you came here and found this, right? Yes. Rosa-sama, look at this. What? Happy Halloween for... What? Cannon pointed at a single line in English written below the creepy magic circle. Until it had been pointed out to her, she thought it was just another part of the magic circle. There, the following words are written in English. Happy Halloween for Maria. Happy Halloween for Maria. This creepy magic circle was for Maria. Happy Halloween. Yesterday, only one person had said Happy Halloween to Maria. A key phrase matched. It was the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What about Maria? She should be sleeping with her cousins, right? Did you check? My apologies. We just now realized that Maria's name was written there. We still have not checked. Quickly. What are you doing? I'll go check on Maria and come back. Tell Kraus, Nissan, and the rest, too. After that, follow their instructions. After saying that much, Rosa finally noticed that something was odd. Her own rank in the family conference was the lowest of the four siblings. Why had she been the only one called during an abnormal situation like this when the other siblings hadn't been? Even if Maria's name had popped up. Could it be, huh? What? Yes, we tried to contact Kraus-sama, but we couldn't find him. And Madame was not in her room. This is just weird. Judging by the condition of the sheets, she might not have returned to her bed at all last night. Rosa felt something creepy crawling slowly up her back. Did you check inside the chapel? No, not yet. We tried, but actually the lock to the chapel is special, so the master key will not work. There's a single key that can open it, but that key is missing from the key box. She didn't want to get closer to the door with the creepy magic circle if she could. Rosa readied herself and approached, then tried pushing and pulling the knob. All she felt was the resistance of the sturdy lock. We searched to see if there was a window we could enter through, but I think we'd have to break one of the windows if we wanted to check inside. What do you think? There's no way I can give you approval to do something like that. This is Father's precious chapel. At that time, the events of the previous day swirl around in the back of Rosa's mind. That's right. When I met with that witch in the rose garden, didn't she hand Maria an envelope? Yeah, there's no mistake, she did hand it over. When Maria tried to open it, the witch told her not to do it yet, and then she surely said, time to open it will come soon. Rosa was sure. There could be no mistake. The envelope Maria received was... What the fuck is going on? Are there gonna be different people dead this time? After dashing back to the guest house, Rosa approached the cousin room while hiding her footsteps, softly opened the door and peered inside. From the inside, she could hear the healthy snores of typical young people. There were 4 children, and Maria was there, sleeping soundly. After breathing a sigh of relief, she entered the room with quiet footsteps. She was after Maria's handbag, which was resting on the sofa. Maria always carrying her treasures around, always liked carrying around her treasures around with her. She was probably emulating how her mother always carried her makeup with her. Of course, she was just imitating her mother, so everything inside was junk. In Maria's case, it was full of small, creepy occult items, notebooks describing things of that nature, and so on. Rosa had never been happy to see her daughter walking around with things like that, which weren't girlish at all. However, trying to force Maria to stop had resulted in a big fight, so she decided to let it be. Here. This is it. A Western envelope with the crest of the gold eagle. When she took it out of the bag, she realized there was a heavy, vaguely cylindrical object inside. She could tell by its feel and weight. There was beyond no doubt this was a key. After turning around and checking that Maria was still sound asleep, Rosa tore the envelope open and contents spilled right out into her palm. It was a key with an old and intricate design. Rosa had gripped that key and dashed out. Battler seemed to have noticed that sound, but after grumbling and turning over in his sleep, he started snoring again. Genji-san, could this key be the key to the chapel? Where did you... Yes, this is the key to the chapel. Rosa approached the creepy magic circle once again and put the key in the keyhole. There was a strong resistance. After it resisted for a short while, it stopped resisting with a clunk. Then, squeaking with a noise that hurt one's ears, it slowly began to open. Is anyone there? Her voice reverberated throughout the massive room. Of course, there was no answer. The chapel had a high ceiling, and the air was cold. And even on this rainy, unsettling day, it felt sacred for some reason. The servants timidly followed after Rosa. Rosa-sama, look at that. Cannon noticed it immediately and pointed. Over there was the altar. In the place that would normally have a pastor preaching of God's love, there was a table that shouldn't have been there. At first, it looked like a dining table. There actually were gorgeous plates and utensils placed there, making it look like a child's birthday party or something. Upon closer inspection, the surrounding area had been decorated with pumpkins and black and orange ribbons. They were probably Halloween decorations. And there were people seated at the table. 3 people on each side facing each other, seated in chairs. They could be recognized at a glance. Krauth and his wife, Ava and her husband, Rudolph and his wife. Man, poor fucking Rudolph ain't getting a fucking break. He's dead in... Rudolph and Kai dead in every fucking timeline. But if you wanted to be sure, you'd still have to go closer and check, because they seemed almost like dolls. Rosa and the rest had opened the door, entered all at once with the sound of many footsteps, and called out asking if anyone was there. And yet there had been no reaction. Even if Rosa and the rest assumed they were being ignored, you'd still expect there to be some kind of reaction. And there hadn't even been that. So at first, it felt like someone had set down some dolls that greatly resembled those people. By now, it wasn't just Rosa. Shannon and Cannon and even Goda, they were all fighting frantically with a creepy emotion that grasped their hearts. Nisan? Nason! As she walked towards the altar, she called out again, but there was still no reaction. Yes, by now Rosa was sure of it. She was sure these weren't dolls, but the people themselves. They grew close enough to see clearly what lay on the table. It still looked like an adorable banquet, reminiscent of a child's birthday party. Plates piled up with sweets, cute pitchers with drinks, all kinds of pumpkin-shaped ornaments. They were all decorated in a Halloween style. While this probably wasn't the time to be thinking it, Maria assuredly would have been delighted to see all this. That was the state of the table they sat in front of, apparently asleep. It was an eerie scene, as though a small, fun-looking Halloween party had been stopped in time. They're all sleeping? When she approached even closer to them, she realized that there were snacks scattered all over the floor. Candies, cookies, soda, and chocolates, all with heavily fantasy-themed packaging. They were all scattered across a carpet covered with blackberry and cranberry jam. Rosa and the rest finally realized what the situation was. It was a Halloween party. A banquet for those not of this world. Kraus, Natsui, Ava, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Kairi were seated in chairs and apparently asleep, but all were dead. Her corpse was found in the chapel, but her cause of death is unknown, but it seems her stomach was cut open and her pulled out after her death. On top of that, sweets and candies were packed into her stomach. Kraus, Natsu, Eva, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Kairi were seated in chairs, apparently asleep, but all were dead. How could you tell that they were dead and simply not sleeping? That was because they'd been vertically sliced open from their chest to their stomachs. Kraus-sama! Yeah! How cruel. The 6 of them had sat down at a Halloween party before having their stomachs split open, killing them. Then the jam covering the floor must be what overflowed from their stomachs once they'd stuffed themselves completely, right? No, the contents of their stomachs had been scattered all over the floor, and that wasn't all. Out of their stomachs, it was almost as though they'd been poured out. As those snacks had been overflowing from there. What the fuck? Okay. Sure, dog. Candy and cookies, soda and chocolates had been poured out, stained with blood, and scattered across the floor. What could have happened to cause this? It's almost as though their stomachs were stuffed full to bursting with sweets, and all poured out when their stomachs split open. Rosa remembered a certain shocking meal. A turkey. Oh, wait! I didn't know that. Red text. Makes this red, too. What the fuck is this shit? When it had been cut open, the knife outflowed one of their favorite foods, but since she hadn't been told what was inside, the deep red ketchup omelet rice poured out like bloody maggots, pulsing, dripping, slimy, pulpy, squelching. Yeah. The trauma of her youth was revived. Rosa felt a monster raging inside her stomach as the acid started to rise. Unable to hold back, she threw it all up on the floor. Yeah, I would puke too. Her empty stomach had nothing but stomach acid. The scene in front of her was no fun Halloween party now. The 3 couples were enshrined right there. Their stomachs vertically wrenched open with a guigba. So many snacks had been stuffed in there, pulpy, squishy. Blood and guts and sweets were overflowing onto the floor. Blood-stained, sticky, sloppy, pulpy, sweet snacks that made your fingers stick together. Gummy. But stained with entrails. Sloppy, pulpy. What was that I just stepped on just now? That didn't feel like a candy or a cookie or a soda or a chocolate. I'm scared. What did I step on? I can't even look at the bottom of my foot. Awakia! What a gruesome Halloween party. From far away, it looked truly beautiful, fantastical, and fun. But from up close, it was horrible, disgusting, and yet somehow still beautiful. This is a little silly. Rosa's wild thoughts tried as they could to escape her throat with a loud voice that was neither a scream nor a roar. Kraus-sama. This is horrible. Just horrible. Call an ambulance. Call the police. That's right, the police. Police. If a word so tied to reality had come out of Goda's mouth, Rosa and the rest probably would have found themselves unable to escape that nightmarish party even now. But it wasn't because they thought the police might be able to do something. If they didn't keep yelling about the police, it felt as though another seat might be set up at this demon's party and given to them. Their own chests felt like they were expanding unpleasantly from the inside, rumbling, churning. And it was surely because candy And it was surely because candy was about to overflow from their stomachs. What's... Okay. She puked again. Then she searched to see if there was any candy in it. God. Anyway. Rosa coughed violently again, forcefully spitting out the stomach acid that had been burning in her throat. She realized but now her whole body had been covered in a filthy sweat. Genji-san, Shannon-chan, please contact father and ask for instructions. Goda-san, go with Ken and call the police. And have Dr. Nanjo come here. Why even bring Dr. Nanjo here? It's a bit late for medical care. The servants accepted their orders and dashed outside. After watching them leave, Rosa once again stared at her siblings, with whom she'd spent good times and bad, and their partners. Though there could be nothing more tragic than this scene, for some reason she was tempted to describe these fantastical deaths as beautiful. There is beauty in death. They aren't here. Where'd they go? The servant room and the kitchen are both empty. What in the world happened? Ugh! Mama! Where's Mama? My letter! The letter I got from Beato! Give it back! Give it back! Wow! Perplexing. Battler-kun, are you sure it was Aunt Rosa? Well, even I was half asleep, so I'm not too sure. But I get a feeling that in the early morning, Aunt Rosa came in and fished around Maria's handbag. I figured they were probably for a tube of toothpaste or something in there. Why would there be a tube of toothpaste in Maria's handbag, dumbass? Looks like you were a little more than half asleep. Battler vaguely remembered Rosa entering the cousin room. And when Maria woke up before the rest of them, she started rampaging around saying that someone had opened the envelope she'd been keeping safe. Putting two and two together, they figured that Rosa had probably come to open the envelope. A letter from the Golden Witch. I wonder what was inside. Letter from the Golden Witch. I wonder what there was inside. I don't know. That envelope was for grandfather's personal use, and it had the Shiromiya family crest on it. Whatever was inside must have had some connection to the family conference. She hadn't let anyone touch it. Yes, Maria had shown that envelope off to Battler and rest a whole lot. This isn't random. This is not random. So they remembered it well. Mama, give it back. Mama, give it back. Wow. Wow. Well, if you're right, it'd have to be pretty important. Why would this mighty witch give something that important to Maria? I don't get it. Every once in a while, the refreshing morning atmosphere is completely wiped out by the sound of thunder. It was only natural. Since the moment they'd been woken up, they hadn't met anyone else. It felt it felt like only they were left, as if the mansion had become an empty husk. Oh, you are right. There's no way witches are real. At this point, I don't even know what to believe anymore. Hey, anyone there? Answer me. Jessica called out to the hallway, and eventually an answer came back. It came from the entrance hall. Welcome to Umineko. I don't know what to believe anymore. There's a whole different set of 6 people dead, but it includes now she's dead, and these 2 are dead now. This asshole's still alive. I'm gonna guess George and Shannon are gonna die tonight. That's gonna suck. But then who's gonna be the 5 left? I mean, Cannon and Jessica could die too. We don't know. This is so fucked up. What even is real? I knew this fucking act. I knew this episode wasn't conforming to what they told us in the freaking previous episode. I freaking knew it. I knew there was some goofy fucking shit going down. I knew they were kind of playing fast and loose with it. This is so fucked up. Jessica called out from the hallway. Okay, yep. I can hear you. Wait till episode 3? I don't even want to think about episode 3. Then 6. And then 7. Because something happened. It's Dr. Nanjo. Thank goodness. I'm not really giving a fuck about seeing Dr. Nanjo right now. That's just the least thing on my concern. Oh, I forgot to say, but I did buy the Answers arc today since the Autumn Sale started. The most fucked up it'll ever be? Oh god. It looks like everyone but us hasn't disappeared from this island after all. Dr. Nanjo, good morning. Sorry, but do you know where our parents went? Oh god. Dear me. I only just woke up and came here, you see. I have no way of knowing for sure, but let's see. It was only natural. Nanjo was just a guest like the rest of them. He'd come just now to pass the time in the parlor before breakfast. Oh wait, are they actually... No, I'm just being confused. Episodes 5 and 6 are like pseudo-answers. The answer arc is more like episode 7 or 8. Okay. Dr. Nanjo, Mama took it. Mama took my letter. Give it back, give it back. Ugh. Maria buried her face in Nanjo's plump stomach, sobbing and crying. Nanjo could do nothing but be bewildered by this ruckus so early in the morning. Ah, someone's running this way. Jessica, someone's coming. From down the hall, they could see people running hurriedly. They saw Goda and Cannon coming towards them. I wish Goda was still dead. This guy's a fucking jag. I do feel bad for Maria. Just gets the shit beat out of her. And nobody likes her special interest. Normally, it would be disgraceful for a servant to run inside the mansion. But 6 people are fucking dead. And yet Battler and the rest didn't even think to question that now. Maria's sobbing had become so unmanageable, they wanted to ask anyone where Rosa was. But the two servants seemed to have bigger things on their minds than Jessica, who was waving at them. Goda flew into the servant room, and when Cannon noticed that Nanjo was there, he bowed and approached the doctor at a quick pace before whispering something into his ear. What did you say? Rosa-san did? Yes. I will guide you, so please accompany me. By the way, you can solve each episode on its own. I'm not smart enough for that shit. I'm way too fucking stupid for that. This way. Without saying anything more than that, Cannon finally noticed Jessica and bowed to her. But he wasn't calm. He dashed back down the corridor by which he had come, followed by Nanjo. By looking at how hurried they were, Battler and the rest realized that yes, something really bad had happened. I think it's just a miracle I haven't spoiled this shit for myself yet. The only thing I know is that Battler gets a cape. Like, that's the only thing I know about the rest of the game, is that Battler gets a cape. And there's more characters. There's more characters, and Battler gets a cape. That's it. That's the only fucking thing I know. Everyone dies. They saw Goda through the door to the servant room, which had been flung open. He was holding the receiver and violently pressing the hook. From that, they realized that he was trying to call a hospital and the police. Surprise, surprise. In any event, he was trying to call someone because a serious emergency had occurred. Let's have a look. Yeah. Mama, give it back. Get back my letter.
It's an invitation to the Golden Land.
They didn't know what, but something was happening. Battler and the rest chased after Cannon and Nanjo. And then we realized Cannon could have called Dr. Nanjo, but he hadn't called us, so we shouldn't have gone with them. I wonder if Alice regretted her excess curiosity when she chased after the rabbit holding a clock. No, you mustn't go in. You mustn't look. Jessica-chan, no! Eek! No! Mother! Father! But what happened? Ooh. What the hell is this? This goes way beyond bad taste. Isn't taking someone's life bad enough? What the fuck is this? Going to all the trouble after they died of sitting them on chairs, slicing their stomachs and pulling their entrails out? You went to all the trouble of stuffing their stomachs full of sweets. Why the hell would you do something so fucked up? Damn it! Nice job, you bastard. Just great. Just great. Yag! If you think this is bad, there's worse? Oh god. It would be best if everyone went outside. They certainly wouldn't want you all to see them like this. Nanjo told the children to go outside, but not one listened. Rosa-san, please tell them. If they keep looking at something like this, it will do nothing but harm. Oh, fuck yeah, this song's playing. Rosa regretted her own carelessness. She should have realized that the children would eventually come here to bop to the fucking great music in this game. She would have quickly locked up instead of standing around stunned. So the children had come here. They had seen it. Surely at this very moment, they were having a sight burned into their eyes. That was far more grotesque than the shocking meal Rosa had witnessed in her youth. While she hugged Maria, who seemed to be too shocked to show any emotion at this gruesome scene, Rosa cried for them and their parents. The four groaning and crying voices, their sadness continued to echo in a place that should have known God's love. Oh, what the fuck? You piece of crap. Again, another one of these murders. I think we're pulling out of the narrative for a second. And this time you made it all elaborate. Killing them is like, it's like a total joke. Cackle, cackle. I was rather hoping you'd thank me, not cry out of grief. Thank you? Did you say I should thank you, you old bitch? Damn it, if there's something wrong with your ears, I'll cut them both off so you can hear better. Why should I have to see that insane way of killing and say, oh, thank you very much, Pier-sama. I'll beat your brains out. In the last game, you lamented the fact that you couldn't see your parents' faces after they died. Yes. So this time, I left them. Wait, my Kinzo as Battler theory is only growing. My Kinzo as Battler theory is being reinforced because fucking Kinzo said the last time. And now there's another last time. We're being pulled out of their narrative a bit. I'm such a believer that Battler is Kinzo. I'm such a believer. Battler is Kinzo confirmed. I do not know it. It makes sense. It's a crack theory. It's my crack theory. Oh my fucking god. Wait till episode 4. Didn't touch them. Take a good look, for without a doubt, your father and the rest have been killed. Really, what a nice treat. I'm so fucking happy. I swore I'd plow your face after I choked the life out of you, but I'll take that back now. I'll rip out your guts instead. Don't give in to emotion. Don't stop thinking. What does this look like? Oh, that's so much creepier. Wait till they start talking in colors and your mind will be fucked completely. Ah. My game has already begun, right? Cackle, cackle, cackle. I decided to leave you neat and tidy corpses this time. Do you know why? You denied my existence in the last game. You used this line of thinking. Their faces were crushed, so the identity of the corpses can't be confirmed. Therefore, we can't eliminate the possibility that fake corpses were prepared to create an alibi. Unless that possibility is denied, a human culprit theory can still be bullshit. What'd you say? So, Battler, is it okay to leave the examination of the corpses to Nanjo? Isn't it traditional in mystery novels for the doctor who performs such examinations to be an accomplice? But don't leave the examination to him. Do it yourself. Make completely sure that without a doubt, the 6 corpses are the 6 people they're supposed to be. That they really, really are dead. Not just pretending. If you wish to confirm your father and mother have been killed by having their stomachs cut open and their entrails pulled out, you'd better stick your hand inside their stomachs and feel around. She read that one for me. Thank you, Beatrice. Okay, we're pulling back into the narrative again. I won't cry! He's crying. Damn it, I won't cry! Battler suddenly yelled. His tears were still dripping down, but as though scolding himself for being a sissy, he slapped his face several times with both his hands. Even so, the tears still wouldn't stop. However, he felt a hot blaze in both his eyes. Whoever's responsible for this piece of work, I'll make them pay back their debt completely. So this isn't the time to cry. Gotta think about what to do. Ah, it's all useless. It's all useless. You've got enough time to cry. Then think. This is no time to let yourself cry. Just fucking cry, man. Your parents are dead. Take a fiver, man. Take a tenner even. Take a day. Rather than genuine anger. Maybe it was more of an evasive anger to blot out his sadness. However, it gave a little courage to George and Jessica who'd been crushed by the sadness. That's right. Even if we cry, we won't change the reality of what has happened. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Now what should we do? What should I do for mom and dad's sakes? Rosa-sama. I've returned. Koda-san, what happened with the police? What did they say to do? What did they... Reading's really hard. Did they say when they think they'll be able to get here? As to that, the phones were broken. We all fucking knew that shit was gonna happen. Yep, the emergency wireless. That shit's broken too. Just like last time. What did you say? But we can't contact the police? It's that person. They did something to the phone line. Made it so we can't reach the cops. When she heard the phones had broken down, Jessica immediately decided it was the work of the mysterious guest. Her eyes were bright red after so much crying, and they began to grow even redder with rage. God, there's no need to talk about it, right? I understand everything. That's right, I get it. Who killed Dad and Mom? It's obviously her. It's gotta be that witch or whatever who came yesterday. I'll grab her by the collar. Damn it, damn it, damn it! Jessica Chan. Wait. Hottie girl in the portrait. I would not. Extremely would not. Jessica Chan. Wait. Koda-san. Cannon-kun. Go! Yes, ma'am. Milady, wait. Covering her uncontrollable sadness and anger, Jessica ran outside, torn apart by emotion. What's... No. Thinking about it hastily, maybe the mystery guest who'd arrived yesterday, Beatrice, was suspicious. No questions asked. Oh my gosh. In that instant, there was also absolutely no proof that she was the culprit, except that we saw that they were there. That was it. This moment, she's more just another guess, no more, no less. So Rosa, making an adult decision, was forced to stop Jessica in her rash rampage. I bet this asshole's missing again, too. And I already read all this text. Man, it's kind of sad that Natsui died. I would rather not know that the hottie girl unfortunately smashing kills people for fun. Goda and Cannon picked up this immediately and chased after her. Could the guest that no one invited, Beatrice, be the culprit? I understand how Jessica feels. I wish I could think that too. It doesn't matter who. I want someone to be the culprit so I can bash them right in their face. But before that, we need a clear understanding of what's going on. Who is this Beatrice? I haven't even seen her face. If you're looking for her face, it decorates the big portrait in the mansion. You still don't remember it after looking at it for so long? Come on, Maria. What's so funny in a situation like this? Beatrice is a witch, and the ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land has finally begun. Those 6 people are sacrifices. Little girl saw 6 people die and started going. Last time she did it with her dead mom, when her mom was dead. So this is slightly better. Like, she was totally unfazed to see her mother's face, like, gored in. Come, let us begin the witch's banquet. Tonight is Halloween. No, it's not. It's October 5th, you dumbass. That's not when fucking Halloween is. So now the witches will gather to celebrate. Maria, Don't I always tell you not to laugh with that creepy ass fucking voice? But Chris found a rose slapping Maria's cheek. Yeah, Maria deserved that one. I don't know what to say. Maria deserved that one. Your whole ass family's dead. This is one of those rare times where that's okay. Ever since it started raining yesterday. No, ever since the island was swallowed by the... Chill on the girl. She has autism. I don't know. Well, I do know. Ever since it started raining yesterday, no, ever since the island was swallowed by the typhoon, I felt as though something was wrong. It was bright and sunny when I arrived on Rokenjima, but since I'd gotten up early and was sleepy, when I woke up, it had already started raining. Wait, whose perspective are we in? You know? Ever since that time, suddenly a mysterious visitor calling herself the Golden Witch. Oh wait. Yeah, I had to kind of realize that. I had to remember that in this timeline, Battler took a nap. I forgot it. I had to remind myself of Battler's nap. And it felt like I was sinking bit by bit into a bizarre world. What the heck happened while I was napping? Am I supposed to believe this island was sealed off inside a different world where common sense doesn't apply? I mean... Oh? Who is this person called Beatrice? Is some unknown person trying to involve themselves with the inheritance problem just like our parents were freaking out at dinner last night? Or is the culprit this witch from the Legend of the Gold, just like Maria said? Even if we set Jessica's temper aside, given the circumstances, it's probably safe to say this visitor person is the most suspicious. But we mustn't take up our minds based on that alone. Beatrice, she's my wife. It's useless. It's useless. It's all useless. I smacked my face with both hands. I just did it. It didn't really pick up on the mic. Pulling off my brains before they overloaded. Even though it might have been a wasted effort, this is one of Grandfather's envelopes. On a tray piled up with sweets that decorated the table, George Aniki found a Western envelope that had the Ishiramiya family crest on it in gold leaf. And it was unopened. Which means it's probably meant for us, right? If it was something Dad and the others read, it should be open. It seems your reasoning is correct. It's written right here. Someone wrote those who remain. To those who remain. Which is the same words they used here. Those who... Oh, wait. Maybe I'm not looking at this part of the whole prophecy enough. It just doesn't mean anything to me. Those who remain. I'm not gonna be able to solve this shit. I can't. I don't know. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch Beatrice. It's not lost on me that there's 4 of these. One shall be blah blah blah. The 4 treasures of the witches, and each kind of the questions arc and the answers arc each have 4. I don't know. That just seems at least worth thinking about. I'm baking this shit. This is my QAnon. I'm baking this game so hard. I do not have any coherent idea of what's going on. Is that a letter the culprit left? Are you overthinking? What's inside? Aniki, let's open it. You hallucinating? After nodding silently, George Aniki broke the seal. A folded letter came out. I'll read it. Welcome to Rokenjima, members of the Ashiramiya family. I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family employed by Kinzo-sama himself. That letter really was a joke. This Beatrice, who called herself the family alchemist, had announced that she was collecting the gold she'd been lent grandfather, along with interest. And that interest was everything grandfather had created. Since this tragedy was right before our eyes as this paragraph was being read aloud, it clearly wasn't referring to just the wealth the grandfather had built up. It's crazy, I keep seeing these videos on YouTube, like, an elf. I never watched Dexter, and I never finished Death Note. I think I watched Death Note where most people stopped watching Death Note, though, so I feel like I got the most of the experience. I think I watched like 2/3 of Death Note. Oh, bro, it's Golden Diamond. I have an intense love-hate relationship with anime. I probably watched that shit. Must have been 10 years ago when I watched that. You know, maybe more than 10 years ago. I don't even remember. It's like 14 or 15. Oh my gosh, I'm being carried away. Since this tragedy fell before our eyes. But yep, it was literal. Everything that grandfather had created. In other words, all of grandfather's descendants were included in the interest. You bastard! What a screwed up contract. Lies. By the way, the end of this chapter. It's golden. I bet it's golden. You bastard. What a screwed up contract. Lives as interest for gold, you say? That's almost like a contract with the devil, isn't it? Yeah, we call that a Faustian bargain, buddy. You think that's what makes... You think that makes you look more like a witch? Don't make me laugh. Special clause. However, if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of his contract, Beatrice must abandon these rights for all time. Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. In other words, it's something like this. If these murders represent her collecting interest, I wonder if they're gonna try to... I wonder if they're gonna try to actually find out where this fucking gold is this time, or they're just gonna dick around. At this point, everyone who knew about the gold is dead. Like last time we had Natsui who knew about the gold. Her ass is fucking grass right now. I know none of them know about the gold. At least that we know of. Oh my fucking god. I wonder what they're gonna do this time. There's no way Rosa can keep all these fucking kids together. There's no fucking way she can do it. She's like the youngest. If I were them, I would try to solve it. I would at this point. What else? I mean, the last time all they did was just sit in the fucking parlor and like fucking watch TV all day. They didn't do shit. It's something like this. If these murders represent her collecting interest, then she's telling us to try to find the gold she gave grandfather if we want her to stop. And she's also saying that the secret pointing to the gold And she's also saying that the secret pointing to the gold is hidden in the portrait. So basically, this is a letter of challenge from the witch. She's telling us to try to solve the code that points to the hidden gold, if we can. And if we can't, she'll keep collecting the interest in the plan. I'll beat you to death. Bring it on! Battler-kun, look, look. The table was covered with sweets, so even though those things were right out in the open and we just assumed they were sweets too. I mean, come on, you see them a lot, right? Oh, shit! Wait a minute, this is actually... There we fucking go. Here I was just talking about how none of the kids knew about the existence of the gold. Here's the fucking gold. I think I'm thinking right here. I think I'm onto something. You know those boxes of chocolate-shaped, like, gold ingots? This is no box of candy. It's the real thing. This is a real gold bar. It's inscribed with the crest of the one-winged eagle. I heard Mother talking about this earlier. This is a gold bar from Grandfather's Legend of the Gold. Gold ingots weighing a full 10 kilograms. A whole 3 of them were piled up in the very center of the table. 3 of them. It was where a cake would be placed if it was a birthday party. In other words, this was without a doubt the birthday cake of the party known as the family conference. If these really are 4 nines... What? If these are really 4 nines quality ingots, I don't know what that means. Gold. It's worth about 60 million yen. Dumbass! That's too cheap! Our parents have been killed, and all you've got is this pile of 60 million yen in gold? How much is that? Hold up. 60 million yen to USD. $400,000. But let's take an interest. Oh wait, each one's 10 kilograms. Oh, that's a really... I'm like so freaking having a moment where I'm trying to see if they sold the gold today. It'd actually be worth $4 million, which is 10 times the amount. Such a moment. Don't take us for fools. Batman! So it has begun, Beatrice. It's not like anyone can solve this riddle anyways. So Beato will definitely win. Quickly, open the door to the golden land and take me with you. That is where I'm going to end today. It feels like a good time to end. I'm going to try to be back tomorrow. Because shit, I was just complaining today. There's not really been anything that's happened since the second episode started. Now the shit's really fucking happening, so I gotta pay attention. But that's where I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna have to start overlapping these saves a little bit, unless I just want to go to the other pages. Because I have all my episode 1 saves here. But it only took me it took me exactly 8 streams to finish it. Well, it wasn't 8 streams exactly, it was like there was like a weird half stream. I don't know if I'm gonna beat this episode in 2 more streams at this rate. Because this has just been everything I've done in... Oh well, I'll figure it all out. We'll be fine. Anyways, well, these guys are dead. I'm gonna look at the title screen for a little bit. That seems like... I want to see if it has all the deaths now from the second act. Oh, yeah, because it's just episode 1 tips. So it's just gonna have, yeah, all the ways these guys died the first time around. So what if Kinzo doesn't die like he does? How does Kinzo's death even, like... I think this is the witch's letter. Yeah. Except this time it's read at a different feast. I don't even... This isn't even on my freaking meal plan, this whole steaks thing. This isn't even freaking on my menu at all. And then I think there's going to be tea parties and mystery shit after each act. And, oh my god, there's just so much game here. It's fucking so good. Oh, I'm so excited to see what other crazy fucking shit's going to happen in this game. Bye.